Yo guys, welcome back to Leadfoot TV. So today we are going to fit a front mount intercooler to the Swift Sport. So I'm a bit crammed in here at the moment because Storm Ashley is going on outside and I've tried to shut the doors over, and it's definitely going to be the most powerful storm of all time with a name like that. So I'm a little bit crammed in because we're painting a car at the moment as well, and it's taking up a lot of the garage space. So today we're going to get front mount intercooler onto the Swift Sport. So I've managed to pick up a second-hand intercooler because these are fairly expensive. There's a couple of companies that make the front mounts for them. So there's AirTech, Forge, HKS, and a couple of other ones. But I've managed to pick up one for like half the price because it was second-hand. It does need a little bit of a repaint, but it is a Forge intercooler for the Swift Sport. Before I start taking the car apart, I'm going to get some black paint on it and just spruce it up a little bit, give it time to dry while we take the car apart. So I've scraped off as much of the flaky paint as I can, given it a quick wipe down with some sandpaper, got it as best I can. It's hard to get my fingers right in between all the gaps and everything, but I've done as best I can. Hopefully the paint will last for a little bit longer. I've just got a can of satin black paint to go over it with. So I didn't go too mad with the paint or prep on it, just because it's sat behind the bumper. You can't really see it much anyway. So that is the intercooler all sprayed up. I'm going to leave it to dry while I take the bumper off. I've not looked at how to do this, but the intercooler is behind this front grille. It does have a stock front mount intercooler. This one's just much wider, much more efficient. So it's going to replace the stock one, which means I think that the front bumper is going to have to come off the car. I don't know how to do that. I've never done it before. I've not even looked at how to do it. We're just going to go with it and see what happens. It doesn't look too difficult. I've just had a brief look now. So I'm going to start by taking these two plastic pop clips out, then these two bolts in the middle, and then the two plastic pop clips to this side. So these two middle bolts either side of the bonnet release latch are just 10 mils, so both of those need to come out. Once you've got the bolts out of these, this little bit here is actually a clip, so if you just put your knee on the front of the bumper, push the bumper back and then pull that up, it'll unclip it from there. After that, there's two screws holding the front corners of the bumper in. Just up there's a little cutout in the arch liner on the corner of the bumper with a cross-headed screw in it. It's a bit difficult to do with one hand and film at the same time, but you can just get a full-size screwdriver in there on the right angle. It's very, very tight. You might be better off if you've got like one of those small ratchets that hold the screwdriver bits in to get it with that, so you've got a bit more leverage, but it does come out. I'm just having to use both hands to get it out. So we'll get this one out and get one out the other side too. So that's the screw out of both corners. That's what it looks like if you're wondering what kind of size screwdriver you need. I used one about this side, like a fairly typical size crosshead screwdriver. But yeah, that is both screws out of both sides. Once you've got them out, the bumper should unclip from the bumper bracket. So once they're all out, we just need to get the ones out from underneath the bottom of the bumper. So let's get on with that. So under the front lip, you've got some 3 screws right down the middle of the lip. So one here, one here, and then one down there. So start by getting those 3 out with a short stubby crosshead screwdriver. So once you've got those 4 out the front, you want to come down the side, and this little plastic pop clip wants to come out, and that basically just attaches the bumper to the under tray, so that wants to come out so you can pull it away from it. And then the next one is this screw here, not the one right in the corner of the bumper, but the one just there holding that mud flap trim on. It's just the furthest one to the outside that you want to take off. Once that screw and pop clip is out, then you should be able to just pull the whole bumper away. If you pull it outwards so that it goes past that lip, and then the whole bumper should just pop off. So what I'm going to do now is just lift the bumper off the car, and then we'll have to unplug all the fog lights and everything so that I can take it completely away from the car. So I got one bit slightly wrong. So on top of the bumper there is these bolts holding this bracket on, and that bracket actually runs all the way down the bumper, so you do need to take those off too. Sorry about that. But yeah, that they need to come off too, just the inner ones. So this one here and this one here, and then the whole bumper should pop off. So then the whole bumper does actually come off, and then all you've got holding the bumper on are the wires to the fog lights, which just press in here. So this little clip presses in, and then that whole plug should come off like that. So that's that one off. We'll get the other side off, and then the bumper is off the car. Now that the whole front bumper's off, we need to get the intercooler out, which is this piece down here. You can see there where it finishes. That's the top, that's the bottom, and yeah, we just need to get that intercooler off. So I'm going to take this plastic diverter surround off so that we can get a better look at it, which is basically just a pop clip here, pop clip behind that sensor, and then one here too, and then that whole plastic piece should come out, because I think it's just pushed in at the bottom. It isn't clipped in any way. So now that I've had a better look, it is clipped down at the bottom as well. These still need to come off, so I think that does need to come off. And then underneath, I'm going to take all these screws out the front of the tray. So all the screws out the front, so the whole under tray will drop down at the front. And then there's some bolts up here that hold this whole panel to the bottom of the intercooler. Once we drop that off, we should be able to get to the intercooler pretty easy and get all these clips and everything undone to undo the boost pipes. So yeah, I'm going to undo this row of screws first. So once you've got all those screws out, there's just two bolts. There's a 10mm in here and a 10mm in that recess too, and then that whole tray will just drop down out of your way. And we're going to take this whole front panel off, which is two 10mm bolts in there. So one in that recess, one in that recess, and then I think there's three across the front altogether. One there, one there, and one there, and then two again the other side, exactly the same as this side. So I'm going to get all of those 10mm bolts out, and then this whole panel should drop down out of the way. So once you've got all those bolts out of the tray, that whole plastic tray should come out, and then you'll be able to get to the clips again now for this surround. So this surround just has more plastic clips holding the bottom half in, which you can't get to with that tray in. So let's just pop those out. I think there's four altogether. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, and then another one right at the end. So then I removed the support bar from underneath, which I didn't realise holds the radiator, aircon rad, and the intercooler all in one. So if you do that, make sure that you support the radiator somehow. I didn't. Luckily it didn't damage anything, but yeah, maybe just cable tie the radiator up so it can't drop too far. But once you've got that off, just two bolts either side of the intercooler, and then the whole thing should drop out. I don't think you actually need to take that lower support bar off. You probably can do it without it. And then once it was out, I got a visit from Adolf. So this is the two sats side by side. As you can see, it's only like one row taller, but it is actually twice the thickness, which is what makes it so much more efficient. So once the old one was out, it was time to throw the new one back in, which was a pretty straightforward process. Everything basically just goes back together in reverse order. So intercooler first, then the support bar, then all your under tray and the surrounds, and then the bumper. and it's all fairly straightforward. You basically just do the same process but in reverse order. So once I got it back in, it all ran absolutely fine. I didn't have any warning lights or anything like that. It was, yeah, perfect. Had a bit more power mid-range, which was nice too. So the intercooler is on. It has made a little bit of difference to like the mid-range torque, especially like third gear. I have noticed in third gear that it does pull a little bit better. I think once it's been mapped properly, it'll definitely make a big difference. So next up is going to be an exhaust system. Once we've got the exhaust system on, we can go to get it mapped and push the power up a little bit. And then once the power's where I want it to be, then we can start focusing on the chassis with like the brakes, the suspension, roll bars, and then we'll get it ready for some track days early next year. But I'm really happy with the way the car's coming out so far. It's so fun to drive. It's a great daily. So yeah, I'm looking forward to like where it'll lead in the future. But that is it for fitting the intercooler on the Swift. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, make sure you leave a like, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.